Today we're going to get into some self-care crafting. What is it and what could it be for you? It's ice season, not winter, ice. And when it's cold and icky outside, you got to break out the big guns. It's not that I really mind the winter, it's the ice that bugs me. So if I'm not having a beautiful snowy day, I'd rather be cozy. Welcome back to Planning for Adventure. Today we're going to get into some crafting for self-care purposes mainly. Obviously, I think self-care can look so different from one person to the next, and we all kind of feel relaxed by different things. Personally, I do think that when it comes to crafting stuff, that is one of my absolute main go-tos. And I thought I'd show you guys a few different things that you can do if you want to do some cozy crafting and just kind of get into the creative stuff. One of the most frustrating things when I'm having a flare-up or when I'm in a lot of pain is that feeling of stuff's not working. And I think for me, I enjoy doing something creative in those moments, both to just sort of get out of my head and get in a better headspace, but also it's nice and it's kind of rewarding, whether it turns out pretty or not so pretty, to just feel like, okay, I did something, look. It kind of brings you back to when you're like little in school, you're like, Mom, look, I made this. So if we're gonna do 5 different types of crafts that you could do for self-care, these are my 5 favorites. Not necessarily in any particular order. It kind of depends on my mood. So, number 1, I would have to say polymer clay. I am nuts about it because you do not need a kiln. You can make all these cute little things and they're so adorable. I have been really into making earrings lately and necklaces and things like that, but also just like little cute little sculpture things. Adorable, totally adorable. Bake them in the oven for half an hour, you're good. There is also air dry clay, which is something that I honestly haven't really done all that much of, but I am getting into now and I am really enjoying it. I'm using polymer mainly for like jewelry and little things like that, but the other day I made this with air dry clay and it's like I'm thinking an incense burner, we'll see. It's really cute, little trinket dishes and things like that. With the polymer clay, I have been using clays that are colored already from the start, but when I've been wanting to make like little detail things like with the stack of books and things like that, I've actually been going in with a little bit of Posca pens and just kind of rubbing it a little bit, trying to spread it out. That has worked really well, and then doing a clear coat of varnish over that. And then with the other stuff like the air dry clay, I've been using acrylics because you want to avoid anything that is too water-based. Because it is air dry clay, it could have the clay going soft again, and that's not what you want. So when making a video that is focusing on crafting for self-care, I cannot not mention this. Number 2, knitting and crocheting. For a long time, I was like, my hands are in such bad shape. I don't think that I can do that. And try it. If you can, then you can. Some days I can't, and then I just don't. But it does kind of help keep the fingers moving and I mean, like in any case, when it comes to muscles or anything that is involved there, you want to keep making sure that you are moving that body part so that you keep blood flow going through your hands and wherever to make sure that things don't stiffen and get out of use, if that makes sense. Obviously, if I'm having a horrible pain day with my hands, I don't knit. That makes sense. But when I'm not, I think it really is one of those, if you can do it, like try, because you might surprise yourself. I think when it comes to anything that has to do with a body part, keeping things moving is really important. You don't have to do anything insane or anything crazy, but knitting kind of, it keeps the fingers moving, keeps that mobility going. And I feel like if it works, it works. You know, sometimes you just have to try and be like, hey, you know, that's not bad, that works, and then do it, for crying out loud. Don't just assume that you can't, like I did. Somebody was asking the other day, like, who is this girl? What are her credentials? No, I'm not a doctor, obviously. But I am actually a medicinal massage therapist, as well as a nutritionist and a life coach. So those are things that I do and have credential wise, other than the fact that I myself deal with chronic pain, Crohn's disease, fibromyalgia, and IBD associated arthritis and things like that. So a lot of stuff that I myself have kind of had to figure out along the way. But when it comes to massage and things like that, yeah, muscles play a big part in pain. And I think a lot of times when we don't move stuff, it gets stiff, it gets unused, and makes things worse. So it's good to keep moving when we can, in whatever way that you can. And if something is bothering you and it's hurting, then don't do it. I think that's the best thing to say. If something hurts, then don't do it. And if you're wondering if something could be right for you, then ask your doctor. That's usually the best and the safest way to do things. So knitting can really be a part of making something that is going to help you, like hand warmers if your fingers hurt and things like that, or leg warmers. And when it comes to my hands, honestly, I don't know how many pairs of hand and arm warmers I've knitted through the years. Like, these are really cute. I like these. These are the little ones. I don't know. Maybe it's like an addiction. I just keep knitting hand warmers. These are a little bit longer. I really like these. And right now I am working on a pair of brown ones in this really nice, soft, like glittery. I don't know if you can see that, but it's brown and it's super soft, and it's got little sparkles in it. Which brings me to another one of my favorite crafting things, which is planning and planner decorating. Oh my Lord. I am obsessed with stickers and washi tape and things like that. I think it is so much fun. I really do. Which is the reason that I opened a sticker store on Etsy. I love designing those things and I love making them. If you guys do want to do printables, like, printables are obviously something that you print. So you need to have sticker paper and you need to have a color printer if it's colored stickers. But for me, that was a really good way to go, because I live in Sweden, and a lot of the good stickers and things like that are maybe from the US, and then shipping and all of that, and it takes a while, and it's just easier to do printable stickers. So if you guys do want to do printables, you can go on Etsy. I have a store, I can link that down below. And there's a ton of things that you can find there, which is nice because it's like instant download, cut it out, you're good to go. And I mean, planning is one of those things that either you can do it analog, like in a planner, in an almanac, in a happy planner. There's Erin Condren, there is a ton, and it depends, some people like to do the vertical, some people like to do horizontal, some people like A5, some people want anything bigger. There's so many different types and varieties that there's something for everybody. If you don't want to be a papery person, you can always use digital stuff. Like, my favorite is Notion. If you guys do want a Notion tutorial, I could do a video on that as well. It is a lot of my work planning I do on Notion, and content planning and things like that. So Notion is excellent if that's more your thing. And when it comes to decorating, yeah, you can decorate there as well. I use Giphy a lot. I use GIFs and just kind of use them like I would stickers with my with my Notion pages. And since we're talking about self-care in the more artistic and creative way, painting. Art therapy is not something new for a reason. And there are so many different ways that you can paint or get into that kind of thing as well. If you love painting, you can sketch, you don't need anything crazy. Yeah, you can do you could do oil paintings if that's what you want. You can also paint with acrylics. You can paint watercolors. There are so many different ways. You could sketch. All you really need is a pencil and a piece of paper. You could also do color by numbers if you feel like, you know what, I just want to I was gonna say release my brain. That sounds a little bit weird. But if you don't want to, make things up, or some people are like, I'm not a creative person. I think everybody is creative in one way or another. But if you do, there's color by numbers like books. And that is really cool and just a nice way to be mindful and just sort of take it easy as well. I am totally in love with this set that I got from my mom a while back, which is like a watercolor kind of thing that you can bring with you. Really nice. When it comes to making candles, you kind of have to experiment a little bit depending on what container you're using to see the size of wick that you're going to need, if you're using a wood wick or if you're using a regular old wick. It kind of depends on the size of the container and the type of wax that you're using and things like that, how fast it's going to burn and all of those things. And then you have different colors, you have different scents. Oh my Lord, there's so much stuff. It's really a science in itself. If you guys want to, I can add I'll put some links in the description with links for finding all the supplies that you need for all of this stuff. There is air dry clay, there is polymer clay, there is paints, there is coloring books, yarn, knitting needles, and just like everything. A lot of times I get it from Amazon, and that's usually because it comes fast. It's fast, and I know that I can find what I need. Yeah, I love using places like Etsy for finished things, but when it comes to supplies, I find a lot of times it gets so expensive. It gets crazy expensive with craft stores. So yeah, Amazon has been my go-to be completely honest. If you guys do like these videos, make sure to click like and subscribe, and I would love it if you leave a comment down below so that I can hear a little bit more about what you guys like. Thank you so much for sticking around and for watching this video. I hope that you guys got a little bit of inspiration, and I would love to hear what you do for self-care. What are your favorite crafts and what do you do? I will see you guys back here next week for another video, and until then, have an awesome weekend and rest of your day. Bye-bye.